Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another great edition of my Grue Rume Show. And for the Grue Rume Show today, I'm very happy to have the guest that I have today. One of my favorite vampire films of all time is Species. It's a horror film series from Full Moon and Charles Band, and I have the Vampire Radu on Anders Hove. I got Denice Duff and the director of the series, Ted. I I'm gonna have him say his name because I don't want to butcher it up. And I got those three people from the subspecies film series on my show today. I am very happy. Like I said, the Vampire Radu is my favorite vampire ever, like in any horror film. So it's a real honor for me to be talking to him and everyone else from the film series. I am Rocco Cross. Oh, Subspecies 5 is out on some streaming services now. It's the brand new film of the horror series. And if you haven't seen Subspecies 5, I guarantee you'll love it. If you like the four movies, you'll love the fifth. I am Rocco Cross. I am the host at Stutters. I am the host of the Grue Room. And my interview with Subspecies film series, the director, writer, and the two actors from the film will be coming up very soon. This is my Grue Room, and as always, welcome to my nightmare. Stay tuned.
It's good. Got it.
This meeting is being recorded by who? Okay, fine, got it.
Recorded by the CIA for
Yeah.
future reference.
CIA 2. All right.
Well, thank you everybody for taking time and coming on. I know everyone is in different time zones and different parts of the world, so thanks again for doing this.
Hey, man, it's our pleasure, I'm sure.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You gain
So-
weight, Ted?
Huh?
Did you gain weight?
I might have actually. Do I look a little fatter than usual?
You have, you little pig.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop eating sugar and bread very soon.
Well, you look healthy and happy.
Hair. It's not just his hair got fluffy.
Yeah, it's just my hair, man. It's not my face. God, man, my belly has been feeling a little fuller than usual, but I'll stop.
Well, I'm sad to hear that.
I don't have the benefit of having an actor face like you and Denice do. That's always beautiful.
There you go.
Well, what can you do? What can you do?
Stay behind that camera, Ted. Stay behind that camera.
Yeah, really.
Fantastically.
Yeah,
I just emailed you guys another review.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Oh, it was so incredible. He brought up things that no one else had brought up before, of how
Oh,
in the writing, Ted did not use a bunch of cliche Easter eggs, an Easter egg meaning things from other films that
Yeah.
are like, oh, a fan will notice this or that, that you didn't rely on just like, we're going to do the same shadow, we're going to do the meat to taste sandwich, or which you could do and it would be entertaining. But I loved how he really said the story is the story, and he gave
Mhm.
new visuals and new connections for the fans to bite onto. And I love that he said no green screen,
Well, what?
Yeah, very cool. Yeah.
oh wow.
it was so well done. He goes, there's no reason why this film should be as good as it is.
Yeah. I'm not sure how to take that, but okay. Yeah.
Well, only because,
Oh,
he said, he goes,
Well-
when you hear prequel, when it's been
the
decades.
actors made
Yeah.
you good.
Yeah.
The actors made you shine.
Exactly. Yeah. I just sit back and let the actors do their work, let the DP do his work, and it makes me look good.
Hey, if it works, right?
Yeah, if it works, and it has so far at least. Yeah.
So Ted, I actually wanted to start with you. Like I when what made you want to come on the board for the film? Because the first film you didn't write, you wrote the second to the fifth. So when you got handed the script for the first film, what in the script made you want to come on and wrecked it?
Really, when I was handed the script, the very first script, I was not a fan of vampire movies. I was
Oh,
like
wow.
more of a Frankenstein person growing up. But
I didn't know that.
yeah. But actually, I got sent to Romania on a location scouting trip to decide if I wanted to do it or if it was even reasonable for the company to undertake the film. And on the scouting trip, I saw the locations we'd be able to shoot at and met Vlad Palnescu, who was the DP of the film for the first 3 of the movies, and his wife, Juana, who was the costume designer, the brilliant costume designer. And seeing the locations, meeting them and liking them, the thought of having an adventure like that to do a movie is why I took on the film.
Wow. Okay. And I'm honest, like what inspired you to want to play this role? Like you did so well at it that you played the role for 5 films.
Well, it's the usual story, really. I mean, I got it by chance during a lunch break because Michael Watson already got a part at that point, and then he sent me down to the casting director because Michael Watson believed that I should play the other part, and that's actually how it happened. And then it gave me the chance to go back to Europe. At that point, I was at General Hospital, and yeah, I don't know, but I never watched a vampire movie either. So in that sense, I think I fitted in pretty well with Ted. So that's how it happened, really. And
yeah, and interestingly, I was already in Bucharest doing pre-production, and thought I had a whole different guy cast for Radu. And then when Charles Band met Anas, he said, okay, no, this is the real Radu. And so I didn't meet Anas until he showed up in Romania.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
And Denice, like you play both the human and the vampire. So how was it like playing someone in both worlds?
Oh, that's a great question. Because yeah, it is. Being mortal is different from being immortal. Your future thoughts are very different. And I do remember having to number my script because we did part 2 and part 3 at the same time. But it would be like maybe on one day we would do a scene from part 3 where I ferociously suck a girl's or a guy's neck very, violently and happily. And then we break for lunch, and then I go and I play the more mortal, less vampire. And so there was sort of this scale of 1 to 10 of like, where has she progressed? Is she more monster or more human? To sort of go, oh, wait, no, blood bad here. No, blood good here. And yeah, and I as I've like said in interviews that it became for me because I also was not really a vampire fan. I did watch Near Dark 2 days before I flew to Romania, and I really liked that one. But I kind of likened it to, a college girl going to Romania, getting involved with some guy who gets her hooked on crack. And she just becomes an embarrassing shell of herself, needing this drug. And that sort of helped when my sister would come and try and rescue me, and to have that embarrassment of like, no, don't look at me. I'm not the sweet sister that you remember.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Nice. Honest, like the Vampire Radu is my all-time best. Like I like him better than all the rest of the ones that are out there. And what I love most is that creepy voice. Like how did you come up with that voice for him?
Well, Ted could tell you that story too, but I mean, that was the thing is that it was, yeah. Well, it's the same old story. I've told it so many times, but we drank a lot and we smoked a lot for a long time. I think that for the first 2 or 3 weeks, maybe even 4 weeks, we didn't shoot, and there was too much drinking, too much smoking, and then one day Ted came down and said, well, we're going to shoot tomorrow, and nobody believed that. But either way, he took us out to the set, and Ted and I walked around, and Ted asked me how this character was, how he was speaking, and how this and that, how he was walking, whatever. And then due to a lot of red wine and a lot of cigarettes, this voice actually came up, and it was more like a joke from my side, but Ted sort of liked it, and there was no way around it from that point on. Yeah. So, but I mean, that as far as I remember, that's the truth about how it came up, because it was nothing that I had thought about before. I mean, I guess I was more or less drunk when we walked around there. But, I mean, yeah, well, I'm not sort of proud of it or whatever, but I mean, I think that's pretty much the facts.
Yeah, and in my mind, it was always the idea that Radu is dead and dried out inside, and so his lungs are not like a normal person's lungs, so they would have that kind of reedy, windy kind of sound, and Honest captured it. And he's right, we walked around on this on the castle hilltop and just kind of went, okay, maybe he walks like this, no, maybe he walks like that. And in the course of an hour or so, we kind of found that character, and Honest just took it from there and made it his own.
Wow. And how long did it take to transform into him? Like the whole hair and the makeup and those long nails, like how?
Another answer that requires booze.
Oh yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom while Honest answers that one.
No, but I mean, playing with the mask on gives you a lot of freedom in terms of what you do and what you don't, so to speak. So I mean, once that mask was on, though it would take 2 or 3 hours to put it on, then you feel free to do a lot of stuff, because nobody can see if you embarrass anyway. But it gave me a lot of freedom in the first 2 weeks we worked, and after that it just became Radu, so to speak, and it never left me, I hope.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
And for everyone here, like out of all 5 films, is there any scene that you all had the most fun filming?
I guess so.
Okay, I would say.
Did you have fun at all?
No, it was not fun. It was never fun. It was hard work, but there were definitely pleasures. There's a scene in Subspecies 3 where Honest has just twisted the arm off his mummy and cut off her head and thrown the head in the fire. And it was written for, he had a speech after that where he goes, now I've killed my father, my brother, and my mother, all for you. And in the script, it was it seemed like it was going to be another ranting and raving Radu moment. And Honest said, hey, what if we just played it opposite to that? And it's like he is completely deflated and empty now. And I went, okay, that sounds interesting. And he played it like that. And suddenly it put Radu into a whole other perspective for me and for the audience too, you know. So that was one really revelatory scene. Another one was a scene where Denice as Michelle has taken refuge in the basement of the concert hall.
Mhm.
And she goes out to pick up a guy at a rock club. And we had our makeup effects guys who were doing Honest's makeup also had a band. And so we kind of put them together. They wrote some songs. They became the band on the stage.
Oh, wow.
We had like this student disco at the university that we had used for the location. But we started setting up and they said, oh yeah, you have to be out of here by 1 o'clock because the students want to dance. We're like, what the hell? We can't be finished at 1 o'clock. So we shot that scene so quickly. And Denice did such a great job of kind of like just seducing this guy. But then the scene that follows after, where she takes him into her lair and kind of spins around with him and the fangs come out and she bites him and then she pukes blood, was just such a incredible moment for me. You know, that scene where I guess that might be her first victim, actually.
I think it was, right?
Yeah. That was
Yeah,
another one. You know, there are
that
these
one
moments.
for me too,
Go
because
ahead.
you had this wish as a director that you didn't want to cut. And at that point, the choice was, I don't always have the fangs in. And it was actually very nice of Ted, because it's very difficult to speak with the fangs, and Radu has his voice. And he has his voice and it encompasses those fangs, and it does change the way you talk. And since I was still sort of semi-human transitioning, having the fangs was a little difficult, and we wanted the big ones to come in. And he's like, but I just don't want to cut. And I'm like, I got an idea. And so as we spun, I first took the big fangs and I put them in my bra inside my shirt. And so the camera goes around, you see the victim's face, then you see my face. And then when it goes back to the victim's face, it's the back of my head. I slip in, I put the fangs in. And by the time I come around, I've got them in. So we never had to cut. And it wasn't something that we had, who knows? I mean, the budget wasn't going to like put in fangs and it could look cheesy. And then the vomiting of the blood was my first real big blood thing. And I just wanted it to look good. I wanted to make all these dudes go, yeah, like I felt like it was a sporting event, and I wanted like a bunch of soccer fans to go, yes. And he gives me the blood, he puts the blood in, and I just remembered having seen Honest shoot, and just the way he grabs that bottle of blood, it's like a baby bottle, and he just sucks it down, and I'm like, here's my big blood. I'm like, don't just drizzle it in my mouth, because I'll never spit that out. So I took it, and I took so much where it hit my gag reflex a bit, and I kept that. And then I rush in, and I kept the blood in my mouth while I just like, because Ted really wanted to see the heaving, right? Because it's a wider shot, so you don't see your face, but you see your body. So it was like really like a cat. It was like a cat coughing up a hairball, which was like and just before I was going to let it come out, I thought, let me swallow a bit. And that stuff is like, it's just like minty red dye, and just swallowing a little bit made it go, and it did this splat. And like, there was this silent moment, and then Ted said, cut. And the dudes were like, yes. And I was like, oh, I've arrived. You got to dive in. So yes, that was but my that was fun to film. But my favorite one of how it ended on screen, which is also happens to be the one that whenever I do a convention, it's the one that most fans will come to me and tell me that they like. And it's the scene with Radu and Michelle out on the balcony. It's just two sad immortals trying to reconcile with their condition. And it was just really, I enjoyed filming it, but not as much as when I saw it. I was like, wow, that was way more powerful than I expected. So that's one of my favorite scenes.
On the balcony? What scene is that?
Yeah.
where the sun's about to come up and she's asking you what kills a vampire because she's trying to figure out
okay, yeah,
how
yeah,
she
yeah,
could die.
yeah. That's absolutely one of my favorite scenes too. That's yeah.
What was one of your happy scenes to shoot?
Yeah, that's one. That's one of the a little humanity there. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of them, but I mean, I don't think there's any vampire movies with that sort of a scene. Actually, it was very. Yeah, and I was actually more or less crying anyway. So maybe that was out of exhaustion or because Elise was married, or I don't know. But it was what it was. But that was a nice scene. But there was also this sort of silly scene. I think it's the first or the second one where we did the Joe Pesci thing, getting angry at my brother in the coffin, stamping.
Oh my God!
Yes.
You remember that?
The beginning of
Yeah.
part 2.
What?
Were you-
Is that part 2? Yeah, okay.
The
Yeah.
beginning,
Yeah.
the very beginning.
Yeah. So
That was
It's like
incredible.
Your jacket sort of almost like,
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah, and you
know.
almost broke your ankle trying to stomp that
Yeah,
unbreakable
you know, Joe
skull.
Pesci. Joe Pesci.
Oh no.
I don't know. They had to get it going for somehow.
I mean, part of the great pleasure of working on those movies was being in the locations where we were able to shoot. And
Yes.
you're up at Castle Corwin up in Hunadwara, where we shot that scene on the balcony. And you're surrounded by so much history and
Yeah.
so much like fresh air, except for the steelworks that was right next door to the castle. But yeah, I mean, so when you get on those locations, you're just so happy to be making a movie and so pleased that your life has brought you to this place, you know.
Yeah.
yeah.
But that's very true because it's so different from when you're filming, I mean, anywhere else, so to speak, but where you go to work and then you come home at night and then you have the dishes and then you have to do some shopping and the house looks like shit and you have to clean up. I mean, you know, I mean, what the fuck? I've been working all day, damn it. So, you don't have that kind of problems when you're on location. That's very nice. That's
Yeah,
very,
that is
nothing
a
to
real
disturb
pleasure.
you.
Yeah,
No,
nothing to disturb your drinking, your evening drink.
Thank you, Ted. I forgot that. Thank you.
But
So
but
sweet.
part,
All right,
part
good night.
5,
Thank you very much.
We'd come home at night at like 3 a.m. to the hotel, and there's nothing to eat, the restaurant is closed. We'd go in the kitchen and just cockroaches would just scatter like crazy.
Ah.
And we would order room service salami sandwiches. And
Salami sandwich.
drink horse meat salami sandwiches.
yeah, I
as
was
a
gonna say,
matter of
no,
fact.
it's not even
And they were-
salami.
They were damn good, but that would be our nightly kind of drink a bottle of wine and have some horse meat salami sandwiches.
It sounds very good, tasty, right?
It was tasty. It was very tasty. Honest is like wondering how he ate so many horses in the course of those films.
Another horse was killed last night. Yeah.
Part 5, there was a lot more fruits and vegetables, less wine.
Okay.
That's true.
There was-
Yeah.
There was more coffee and less meat, more fruits and veggies.
Gotcha.
Yeah. You know, we're a little more mature, you know, the
Well,
body
yeah.
works a little differently and we want to make sure that we were up and on time because part 5 was as well a brutal shooting schedule, mostly for Honest, as you know from seeing the film. He was in every single scene, every single day, and you know, it was like a 3.5 week shooting schedule, which, you know, by some standards is a lot of time, but by what the script really encompassed, that was a lot to do. And there'd be days where we would spend maybe 6 hours, and 2 of it was driving to a gorgeous location, 2 hours to just set up and walk through those fields, and then another 2 hours, 2.5 hours to pack up and drive back. And I just think that's such a testament to Ted's persistence to just really take on this atmosphere that is Eastern Europe, and not cheap out with a green screen or just like cross it off because it's an inconvenience to drive 6 trucks out, you know, on these bouncy roads. But we're so glad we did, because what came out on screen, and then selfishly what we all got to experience to go out to these remote places.
Yeah,
definitely.
picnic.
Picnic. Yeah. So where was the fifth film shot at? Like what part of Eastern Europe?
We shot it a lot in Serbia, in Belgrade, in Serbia.
Okay.
At Belgrade Fortress, and then we went down to a little town called Pirot in the southeast of the country and shot a lot of the mountain scenes near there, and another city called Niš in the southeast that had a fortress, and we shot the caves and the campsites in areas around there. So we traveled around a lot through Serbia too.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of work, a lot of traveling
for a 17-day shoot. Yeah.
Wow.
But we were lucky because Red Productions, who was the production company, they were ready to help us make the best movie we could. And Seeger Dixon, who was our American producer, was there to make sure that they would help us. And he was pushing me all the time to not sacrifice anything. So it was like perfect combination of people to make this movie.
Okay. So what inspired you to make the 5th film? Like how did it all come about to make the new film?
I had written the script back after we finished part 4, but then Full Moon couldn't really afford the budget, and so Anis and Denice and I just would meet up at conventions or talk on the phone and talk about how we really wanted to do the film, but we held firm that we didn't want to do it in any sort of version that would make it less than what it should be. And so we just, we all love working together, and we kind of like the series, and we felt like there's more stories to tell. So we just kept holding on until Charlie could afford to make the film.
And now wasn't Seeger who had the connection with Serbia? Wasn't he like a subspecies fan? Like a fan? Yeah. And then like doing all of these conventions and really, I think a lot of the fandom on it definitely influenced Charlie to keep his eye on it. And because you want to do something that you feel is going to be relevant and is going to make cash. And so we, like you said, we would go to conventions and also Kevin and Anis flying all the way over. And we just kind of, the last 5 years, we kind of wanted to wrangle and harness some of that fan desire that we know is out there, that we sort of get one-on-one, but make it a little bigger. And like we were going to do a group funding, we had all ideas of like, I'll fly to someone's house and, do their makeup like a vampire, take a selfie for $1,000. I mean, we were getting, we're not getting any younger, and we love, like, the script was so good, and to go back in time. And but then their connection with the Serbian production company, who had these producers that, like yourself, are huge fans of the series, and put their heart into it, and was able to bring, just enough cash to really do this with the right integrity. So we thank you all for not letting it die.
Exactly. Yes. And is there a kill that you all love most from all the films? Is there like a kill from the films that you all like the most?
Okay, Honest, what's your favorite kill?
My favorite kill?
Yeah.
What, in the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. And in the sub, he's
No,
thinking,
I thought it was my private life we were talking
In your
about.
life, yes.
5 good ones. No, I don't know. It could. No, I don't know. I don't know.
Let me think.
yeah, jog his memory, Ted.
Okay, there was no, that was Denise's kill.
Which one?
Roddy Horowitz on the street in that little street where he's encouraging you to kill the woman who gets out of
Oh.
her car.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
Honest. Oh, what about the girl that you bring to Denice in the cage?
Hey, in the cage.
Yeah.
But that's not violent enough. I think Subspecies 5 has the best kills in it myself because
Oh, okay.
they're more sped up and violent, really.
Yeah.
The killing of Denice in 5 is
Fantastic.
it is.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
I mean,
The
that
fine thing was disgusting. Mhm.
like I love the lead up to it when I'm telling him off, and before I even get to finish my speech, which part of me was like, wait, I had some other words, but it was so much stronger to just cut it, and he throws me down, and that head, it was just fantastic.
You had been humiliating me for I don't know how long at that point.
I know.
That was pretty bad, Denice.
It was. I had a hard time saying it. In
And
rehearsals, I
I
cried.
think part of it was private, and that, that really made me sad and angry.
I loved your reactions to everything that she said. It would be like, oh, maybe she's going to say something nice now, and then she hits you even
No,
worse. And
She won't, no,
it's like,
there's
and your
not one
voice,
nice
it's
word
like,
coming out of that mouth.
The breath that it conveys. Oh, it was so brutal. I mean, when people ask like what was hard, I do say that scene was the hardest for me to shoot because it was really such vile things to say. And I
would say so.
I love Honest so much more than I hate Radu. So
Okay.
so it wasn't easy to do that scene. It wasn't.
We had a lot of fun. You were wonderful to work with. It's fun.
I love you.
It is very fun.
What did you
Rocco,
all?
did you see the behind the scene?
Behind the scenes now.
Yeah.
I don't
Mm-mm.
know if that's, unless he went to the movie theater. Ted, that behind the scenes that you edited, where can people see that at this point?
it's now on the Full Moon Features website.
Okay.
And yeah, you can see it there. It's like a 15-minute behind the scenes. It kind of covers from the very first Subspecies through kind of our adventures over the
really?
years, and then comparing it to this movie. It's really, and it's sweet, man. It's really,
Oh wow.
really
It's very sweet, and Denice is nice to me.
yeah, she says nice things.
Yeah, she says nice things,
Because she's
very
a good
nice
actress.
things, and, I watch it every night before I go to bed. It's very
Mom.
nice.
Me too. I love it. Yeah, she's
I
like,
love you too.
Ted's like a 13-year-old boy. I'm like, well, yeah, I guess I kind of am. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's very sweet. It shows that we love each other a lot,
Definitely, yes. And,
Watch it every
what did
night.
you all what did you all love most about doing the newest film, the 5th film?
Oh, I think we've showed it. We
Yeah.
love to be together. And I think what Anna said too is when you're pulled away in a magical location where you can do work that you love, and then you don't have to go home and fucking do your laundry necessarily.
Go
You
home
know?
and eat candy bars all night.
Yeah, biscuits, you know.
and horses.
No.
Yeah, no, I think for us, it was just like the ability to come back to that world. And even though we were all a little bit nervous about having been gone from it for so long, and Honest was nervous about, could he reach that level of Radu again? And Denice was like having to play two vastly different characters than she had played before. And I was like, you know, every movie I approach with terror, you know, because until the actors are there, until I have the crew on board,
Yeah.
it's just all a bunch of crap in my head that I'm hoping I can get on screen. So yeah, what about you guys? What made it so fun for you?
No, but it's definitely being together again. And that was, it was very beautiful, and it was over before it started. And no, I really loved it. I loved it, and it was nice to see Kevin again. I haven't seen Kevin for I don't know how many years. And no, I mean, but it was like we never been away from each other, which sort of is a testament to how we working together. And
Yeah, it's the same denic exactly between us.
That was it was very easy, you know. I mean,
there was one night that Denice and Honest and I, we were at our little, we were staying at the place that's like the 15th century village. It's like a touristic kind of 15th century hotel.
Okay.
And we were staying there outside of the town where most of the crew was staying. And we were having another dinner, the three of us, kind of feeling sorry for ourselves. It was Sunday night. We had had a really nice day off. We were eating dinner, and the rest of the crew called and said, hey, we're at this little bar in town. We're having a great time. Do you want to join us? And I was like, no, I think I'll just stay here, just relax. And Honest and Denice like kind of dragged me out of the chair. They got a taxi and we went into town, and it proved to be like one of the most beautiful nights of the whole shoot, with our favorite people on the crew and some of the other Serbian cast drinking rakia, and everybody was drunk as shit and singing songs and just sitting at a table, and not us singing. I wasn't singing.
Oh, you weren't singing.
Stasha sang a beautiful song, and it was truly like one of those beautiful moments where all of the stress of making a movie is not there, and all of the joy of meeting new people and making new friends and having collaborators who are artistic and fun to be with. And the fact that they dragged me out there to do it, and we all were like, wow, we are so happy we did it, you know?
Yeah. Nice. And do you have a film out of all 5 films? Like, what film means the most to all of you? Like, is there a certain film in the series that means the most to you all?
Oh yeah, you guys answer that first.
I always, you know, my flash answer, if I have to pick, at least has always been part two, because I feel that it start to finish, you get this story, you get a little backlog of what part 1 was. You get this human girl, you get to see how she, you know, her falling into the world of Radu, and it's just a little bit of everything. I mean, part 3, there's so much stunning, but like, if I have to pick one, that's the one I pick. And now it's tough. Now that 5's there, it's
Yeah.
so like 2 and 5 are so close to me.
Okay.
Honest, you?
pretty much follow that. I mean, but yeah, well, I sound a little sentimental.
No.
But I mean, but the last one is just the fact that we did it, and
Yeah.
I know.
together again. I mean, because there was that picture we took 25 or 30 years in the making. I mean, I think that's a remarkable little picture. We had the same pose, we posed the same way as we did 30 years ago. And yeah, well, Denice will send it to.
Oh, wow.
But that was sort of, I mean, encapsulated what it was all about in many ways, I think. I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah.
It was quite an accomplishment to go and do 5. That was so, you couldn't, the satisfaction of that, the persistence is really, even though it was much shorter amount of time, the fact that we did it after so much built up, you know, it's like a hose that you just keep clamped and then you unknot it.
Yeah.
I think for me, number 2 was like where all the lessons that we learned on number 1 were kind
Which
of
was a lot.
put in place.
Yes, it was.
Really. And I think like Denice says, the story started to really gel. We got to work with Jan Hajduk, the great Romanian actor who plays Lieutenant Marin. And we traveled the country like incredibly all over the country and shot in beautiful locations. So number 2 was a real favorite. Number 5, I think we proved something to ourselves that was really valuable for all of us, you know, that you keep getting better, you know, over time. And that, I mean, the fact that we made it is one thing. The fact that we made it, and we actually made it technically pretty well, considering the budget limitations and the time limitations, and the fact that has been really well received, because if we had disappointed the fans, it would have been a disaster for all of us, you know.
That's true.
But the people that love the movies get the film, and I think it also achieves another level of emotional engagement for people, you know, and you really understand. Honest is able to, one of the things with making number 5 was Honest hates to sit in makeup for 2 hours or 3 hours every morning. And so we went, well, okay, why don't we do a movie that'll be like makeup for maybe a week out a third of the time, and the rest of the time is just traditional kind of makeup effects and normal face, you know. And it gave him a chance to really show another side to Radu that I think is really, really valuable. And then Denice got to show kind of what it is that I mean, not only did she get to play like the sympathetic character who turns into the most fucked up character, got to show how, I mean, we got to really kind of support Subspecies 1 through 4 by this prequel, you know.
Nice.
Another thing I think that was sort of nice to experience was to meet those new young actors in the movies, and how they worked. I mean, they were not impressed about goddamn fucking thing. They just went right into this thing and worked, and they had everything down. And it sort of reminded me of, you know, I wish I had been like that when I was 25 years old, and it was very impressive to see them work, and I think they did a hell of a job, actually.
Yeah, I think bringing fresh characters into the story really kind of energized it for all of us, you know. And discovering Sasha Nicolaou, who plays Ariel, you know, she's like a phenomenal young actress, you know. And I think actors from Eastern Europe they're trained like probably with a whip or something, because they are very, very disciplined. Yeah.
Wow. And is there a favorite line or quote from the Vampire Radu that you all like the most?
Let me think about that.
I mean, you know, I to this day always I say to my husband, you know, you are my fledgling, you must obey me.
Yes, yes.
It's just, we can't not, because it's funny, it's ridiculous, it's true, it's strong, it has automatopoeia, so.
I think his idle threat of there will be a bloodbath or you will suffer until the end of time is like kind of shows the impotence of Radu.
No.
Suffering dearly.
What else did Radu have to say that
I mean, I when I sign headshots sometimes from the film, I'll say from one of my lines, which I like, which is "Help me end this nightmare."
Oh yes,
Yeah,
yes.
You know, and it's, I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the script is one thing, but the actors bring so much life to the movies. You know, you cannot have the movies without Honest and without Denice. You know,
in part 5, when my son Stefan says, "Is my mother dying?" and he said, and Radu says, "Some would say she's already dead." Is that correct? Is that? Yeah.
No,
I
no, and he says, Jakob says, is she a vampire? Isn't that the line? Isn't she a vampire?
She's a vampire,
and
like
I
my
reply,
dad.
she's becoming one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he says, with your sword, you can kill her quick and painless. And Honest says, death is never painless. I mean, there's so much kind of weight to some of the scenes in this film.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's a whole other movie in many ways. But that was also one of the things that, you know, I didn't worry about it, but I mean, I really thought about whether the fans would accept that sort of narrative, as it's called nowadays. The narrative, the narrative. Shut up. You know, but if
what,
they
your voiceover,
sort of,
you mean the voiceover? Or
the narrative, meaning that storyline, that, you know, people use the word the narrative for like political things or for, you know, it's very, you know, but yes, there was a poetry that you put in this, and there was a lot of that, and yeah, and I know, Honest, you had a lot of words.
Yeah, well, he asked me, he begged me to cut a lot of them out. Leading up to the.
Another thing about those young fucking actors from Serbia, I mean, their English was much better than mine. Then you're standing there with your dick in your hand and you say, "Go away," you know, cut those words, cut the lines. Look at me, Ted. Cut it. No.
For a couple of days before we shot the movie, when we were in pre-production, and Honest and I would go sit in this little coffee bar and go through the script and just kind of figure out what could be cut and how to shape it better for him, you know. And you know, it's like every step of the way, the work that we did prepping for the movie kind of really paid off in the end.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely did. And you say you all like to have a drink or two on set. What's your drink of choice?
Oh, depends on what country.
It's a myth that I'm a drunk, that I drink, that I do this and that. I mean, I don't smoke, I don't drink anymore. I mean, I know it sounds boring, but it's a fact.
Anymore is the key word.
A bottle of red wine wouldn't hurt.
or three.
Yeah, all three, you know.
This movie.
Wait, you play music?
Oh, yes, you did.
You can hear it. You can hear it.
Why not?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't turned up. I haven't.
What? what we drink depends on the country we're in.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's
And in Serbia, the drink of choice was rakia, which is like their version of like a
Pilinka.
yeah, palinka, which is like a really highly distilled, incredible drink. And even Honest, who doesn't drink because of the medicinal value of rakia, had a couple of drinks on this film, and it didn't hurt you,
Not
did it?
like, I mean, I was out of shape. I mean, I couldn't do it like I did in the old days. But
Yeah, none of us can. Yeah, yeah.
No,
And
none of us can.
Denise is a clean liver, so she's like,
Yeah.
doesn't drink. You don't
Okay.
drink. Yeah, no, we have a bad reputation, but we're actually very disciplined people.
There you go.
Get it done.
But very nice to be with, you know.
Yeah, we're fun anyway.
Friendly and supportive.
At that drinking party, we did have to escort, one of our young actors out and walk him up and down the street.
Ooh,
get
oh
That is
my
so true.
God.
That is so true.
Yeah,
You know.
whenever he would start dancing around the table, you knew it was almost time for him to go home. You know?
Yeah. That's when experience kicks in. No.
Honest.
What?
Just your sweet face of knowingness.
Yeah.
Sweet face of
No,
good health.
Denise and I took, if not a lot, then quite a few long walks, you know,
Okay.
and talked about Ted's further career and how we're gonna manage that, and if there's anything left at all, you know. Yeah. But that we did instead of drinking.
Yeah.
And eating plenty of fruit from the fruit
Yes.
market. Yes.
Sometimes here's the problem with social media, because I like documenting what was different about this trip is since we have social media, I got to share little Instagram snippets throughout the days with people and immediately, but I also love eating things off of trees. And
Okay.
I just love to find fresh fruit and just eat it. Well, on our
Great.
call sheet, 2 days after doing one of those things, on our call sheet, there was a note that said, warning, do not eat any food that you see actors, crew, you are not allowed to. And then it even said, even if you have an app that says whether it's toxic or not, because I did a story of showing, hey, I have an app.
Yeah.
So, I had to stop sharing the fruit.
Throw away the phone.
Throw away. I could do that. I could.
No, it was nice. It was very sweet to be together again. It really
Yeah.
was.
Fantastic. Yes. Instead of having hangovers in the morning, we replaced
Yeah.
it with beautiful walks. Got
A
our
big
step.
breakfast.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And if you were all doing a karaoke song, what would be your song you want to sing?
I don't know. I can't get no.
Wow, that would be a hard one. That would be a hard one for all of us to choose. Yeah, next question.
Hotel California. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a really good one. I like that song.
On a summer, I will survive. That seems,
Oh, yeah.
it's age appropriate,
And well, I want to thank you all so much for doing this interview. It was so much fun talking to everyone, and I'm a big fan of the whole entire film series 1 through 5. And like I said, this is mean the most. I even met
You got the
Denise.
signatures, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I met you
Were the
both
days.
at a HorrorCon, and you both signed it. Honest and Denice, you both signed it. It's the box set of the Subspecies films, and so yeah,
Oh.
I'm a huge fan. So thank you so much for doing the interview.
Hey, thanks for
Thank
having
you,
us, man.
Robert, for
Yeah.
setting it up. I mean, that's very
Yeah.
sweet. It really is. It really is.
No, this is a good recording to have. We could sell this recording to help fund part 6.
There you
Really?
go. There you go. Yes. I would love to see more films being made. I hope the 5th one isn't it.
Yeah, we hope so too, actually. We do. Yeah. Denise didn't shut her eyes when she's supposed to die. So there's hope for her. Honest has like a little hole in his belly, but he'll be okay.
Oh yeah, of course.
And Stasha and Marco, we'll have to figure out how they come back to life, but he's got the bloodstone.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a lot of strings left. Nobody mentions what happened to the bloodstone.
Nobody
Number 5.
mentioned about
Yeah.
the subspecies, and these are
Oh,
like for
yeah.
viewers. We've read like a dozen like horror, hardcore reviews, and none of them
Yeah.
said anything about it. I'm
Some of the
surprised.
You know
people in-
what? That's true.
On the Facebook, some people go, why wasn't there a subspecies in the movie? And, you know, there was, but that was the day we had to trim out of the budget, was the day, was the
Oh.
subspecies day.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we had to cut a day from the budget and there was no time to shoot. We tried, remember? We tried
Yeah.
to shoot that melting fucking subspecies puppet
Yeah.
to kind of reverse action and have him come to life, but it fell apart in the wrong way. So we just went, no, forget
It's
it.
a good story.
Without David Allen to do the stop motion subspecies, it sort of would be hard to do a decent subspecies anymore.
We have to find a
Yeah.
fan who'll do it for us for like
There you
$300.
The $300. Now you're talking like Charlie. Yeah.
Now, do any of yous own the prop of the bloodstone? Like, does anyone have it? Like,
No, Charlie has the original, I think.
okay, okay.
I have a replica that Honest Erickson and Asia Erickson created. They Charlie is having bloodstones made to sell.
Oh, that's awesome.
So pretty soon, later in the summer, they should be available.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'll probably be one of the ones to get that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all gonna fund part 6, you know. Buy it,
Yes,
buy it,
exactly.
Yeah, once it finishes paying for part 5.
Anyway, we're so thankful you brought us all together and brought out some really great stories that, you know, we never get tired of hearing.
Yeah. 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 And you guys are looking really good. Denise, you look really good. Honest, you look really healthy, like you've been getting some sun. I know I've
You've
gotten
been
a little
getting some sun.
fat. I've gotten a little fat, but I'm going to take care of that.
Well, you know, if you're going to wake up your dog, Ted, then take a walk in the sun.
The problem is she's so old now. She walks slow, so I can't take my power walks anymore. I'm like, come the fuck on. Yeah.
Not get your steps in.
Right. They're steps, but they're like shuffle steps now, you know.
I laughed a lot the other day when you wrote that you were trying to wake up your dog. Go for a walk. I think, what the hell is going on in that house?
Yeah, she used to be so excited for the walk. Now I have to like kick her bed to wake her up.
You funny.
Dog doesn't want to get up and walk.
I know, she's old. She wants to sleep, man.
You go to.
All right, you guys. Hey, it was fun talking to everybody.
Yeah.
And,
Definitely. Yes. Thank you so much.
Hey,
Thank
Thank you, Rocco. And you know where we are.
Yes.
Denise,
I-
love you, Denise. Honest,
Ted,
love you.
Honest,
Okay.
love you. So much love to you guys. Send us a link when this is ready and we'll share it out because it's beautiful.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's Jim.
Okay.
Thank you, Rocco.
Bye,
Thank
you guys.
you.
Bye.
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 Night.